Hello everyone, we are Lydia, Tina, Lulu, Jerry, and Jin. Today, we would like to introduce the story of Little Women, a classic novel written by Louisa May Alcott. The story is set in the United States during the Civil War. It focuses on the March family, especially four sisters, Meg, Jo, Beth, and Amy. Their father is away serving in the war, so the four girls live with their mother, whom they call Marmee. The family is not wealthy, but they live with love, discipline, and strong moral values. At the beginning of the story, the four sisters are disappointed because they cannot have a rich Christmas. They do not have enough money to buy nice gifts or enjoy a luxurious holiday. Each sister has her own personality and her own desires. Meg, the eldest sister, wants a comfortable and elegant life. Jo is energetic, independent, and dreams of becoming a writer. Beth is quiet, gentle, and loves music. Amy, the youngest, wants beauty, art, and social recognition. Although the family is poor, Marmee teaches her daughters to care about people who are less fortunate than they are. On Christmas morning, the girls give their breakfast to a poor family nearby. This event shows one of the main ideas of the novel. True wealth does not only come from money, but from kindness, family love, and moral strength.
The March sisters later become friends with their wealthy neighborhood, Laurie. Laurie lives with his grandfather, Mr. Lawrence. Even though Laurie is rich, he feels lonely. He becomes close to the March family, especially Jo. Jo and Laurie have similar personalities. They are both lively, playful, and adventurous. Their friendship becomes an important part of the story. Meg struggles with her desire for wealth and social status. She sometimes feels embarrassed by her family's poverty. However, she gradually learns that a simple but sincere life can be more meaningful than a life based only on luxury. Later, she falls in love with John Burke, Laurie's tutor. John is not rich, but he is honest and responsible. Meg chooses love and family over wealth. Jo's story is one of the most important parts of the novel. Jo does not want to follow the traditional expectations placed on women at that time. She does not want to simply marry and stay at home. She wants freedom, independence, and a writing career. Jo is talented, but she also has a strong temper. She often says things too directly and acts without thinking carefully.
One important conflict happens between Jo and Amy. Amy burns Jo's manuscript after Jo refuses to let her join an activity. Jo is extremely angry because writing is very important to her. Later, Amy follows Jo and Laurie onto a frozen river and falls through the ice. Jo helps save her, and this event makes Jo realize that anger can lead to serious consequences. She learns that forgiveness and self-control are necessary parts of growing up. Beth's storyline is quieter but very emotional. Beth is kind, shy, and selfless. She does not seek attention or success. She mainly cares about her family and enjoys playing the piano. When Beth helps a poor and sick family, she catches scarlet fever. Although she recovers at first, her health becomes weak after the illness. Beth's sickness changes the atmosphere of the March family. Her condition reminds everyone that life is fragile. Beth eventually dies, and her death deeply affects the family, especially Joe. Joe has always been active and strong, but she cannot control or stop Beth's illness. Through Beth's death, Joe learns about grief, love, and the limits of the human power. Beth's character represents gentleness, sacrifice, and inner goodness. Even after her death, her influence remains with the family.
Amy also changes a lot throughout the story. At first, she appears vain and childish. She cares about appearance, manners, and social position. However, as she grows older, she becomes more mature. She develops her artistic talent and travels to Europe with relatives. In Europe, she meets Laurie again. Laurie has once loved Joe and asked Joe to marry him, but Joe refused because she did not love him romantically. After Joe rejects Laurie, Laurie is disappointed and lost for a while. However, he later becomes closer to Amy. Their relationship develops more slowly and maturely. Amy helps Laurie become more responsible, and Laurie begins to see Amy not just as Joe's younger sister, but as a woman with her own values and character. Eventually, Amy and Laurie marry. Joe's life also continues to change. She moved to New York to work and write. She wants to become a professional writer, but she faces many difficulties. At first, she writes sensational stories because they can earn money. However, she later meets Professor Barr, a German professor who gives her honest criticism. He encourages her to write more meaningful and sincere work.
At first, Jo does not like his criticism because she is proud of her writing, but later she realizes that he respects her talent and wants her to become a better writer. Their relationship develops through intellectual respect and emotional understanding. Jo eventually marries Barr. Together, they open a school at Plumfield, where Jo uses her energy, intelligence, and kindness to educate children. By the end of the novel, each sister has followed a different path. Meg becomes a wife and mother and builds a simple family life. Jo becomes a writer, teacher, and partner to Professor Barr. Beth passes away, but her kindness continues to influence the people around her. Amy becomes an artistically minded woman and marries Laurie. The title, Little Woman, refers to the process of the girls growing from childhood into adulthood. The story is not only about romance or family life. It is also about personal growth, moral choices, ambition, sacrifice, and the meaning of womanhood in the 19th century. It is a story about how people become mature through daily choices, mistakes, forgiveness, and love. That is all for our video. Thank you for watching.